President Trump, of course, owns the Mar-a-Lago club down in Palm Beach, Florida. He used it as his sort of winter White House or southern White House. In addition to President Trump's house when he's down there, it's a business, it's a private club. And that business has basically two parts. It has members, people who pay every year, but it also has these two giant ballrooms, and it rents, the club rents those out. It's a huge part of its business is to rent those ballrooms out for big charity events. And it could make as much as $275,000 in a night just off one of these events. One of the interesting things about Mar-a-Lago was that unlike other parts of Donald Trump's business, which have really suffered as he's become this kind of divisive political figure, Mar-a-Lago it's literally an island, but it was sort of figuratively an island as well. So even last season, which began in late 2016 and lasted through Inauguration Day into spring 2017, a few charities left. But in general, the business of renting the ballrooms to charities was pretty intact until Charlottesville, until this summer.
What about the alt-left that came charging at the, as you say, the alt-right? Do they have any semblance of guilt?
That changed things in Mar-a-Lago. It brought a huge amount of public protests and public pressure onto the charities that were planning to host events at Mar-a-Lago, and many of them began to quit. In all, of the 25 events that were on Mar-a-Lago's schedule for next year, 19 of them canceled. One way to sort of conceptualize what a huge blow this was to President Trump's the event business at Mar-a-Lago is to talk about headcount. By my calculations, it looks like about 7,970 people were expected to come in for all the events on Mar-a-Lago's social calendar. In 2 weeks, about 5,800 of those folks disappeared. So the interesting thing since then has been the way that Mar-a-Lago has now begun to refill the dates that were emptied out when all these charities quit after Charlottesville. What's come in has been very political in nature. There's been a couple of Republican Party groups.
You guys are great here. Young Republicans filling up the room at Mar-a-Lago.
There's also Pat Robertson, who's a pro-Trump televangelist. His Christian Broadcasting Network has a charity that never had a gala before, but now is having a gala. In addition, there's a couple of really unusual events from Mar-a-Lago that have been started by two different people who are just really big fans of Donald Trump. One runs a group called the Trumpettes. One is a guy who lives in Boca Raton who's a big pro-Israel activist. But the charity element is really de-emphasized. These are events that are mostly designed to put money in Donald Trump's pocket, not in the pocket of any charity. The new galas that are coming in, the Pat Robertson Gala and the two that are sort of hosted by supporters of Trump to make Trump money, what those galas say they're going to attract is a total of 2,300 people, which would make back not everything President Trump lost in the summer, but a significant chunk of it. So we'll see if those folks can actually bring in the crowds that they expect. One of the trends we've been seeing all year with President Trump's businesses, his golf courses, his other hotels, is that President Trump's politics now dominate the brand. And so a lot of places President Trump has businesses, golf courses and hotels, where he's put those businesses in very blue, liberal areas, those businesses have started to decline. What's interesting is that until this year, Mar-a-Lago seemed kind of immune to that. This year, it's kind of the best example of those trends. You're seeing at Mar-a-Lago the most sort of drastic example of President Trump's business now being converted to sell President Trump's presidency.